Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another Etheria restart video, and today we're going to talk about an upcoming huge update for Etheria Restart. And in my opinion, an update that could put this game on the path to like 3, 4, 5 years of a great PvP focused game with a hardcore community that's engaged and into it, or the path to decline. Now, I'm going to start by referencing a 5-day-old Reddit post, Discord thing that many people have already made videos on. You've probably already seen this, where the community manager had a phone call with, well, probably not a phone call because it's not 1997, but like a Discord call more likely with Jack, the lead dev of this game. He says they're working very hard behind the scenes, listening to feedback and trying their best to improve. So I want to chip in on this because especially coming off of the last double drop event that's just ended yesterday and me going back to school, this is where gacha games can fit nicely into people's lives. Many of us full-time working, kids, pets, family, all of that. And gacha games have this unique way of sliding into these little cracks in our life where you can use the background farming mechanics and stuff like that to keep more or less up with the best players while still living your best life outside the game. This game needs some changes. Let me go over what they are. And I want to start with the one that is fresh off the last double farming event. So I made a video talking about how I was mostly going to be farming Aurora for gear in the double farming event. I stuck to that plan. Also farmed some Doki, also farmed some EXP books and character level materials, blah, blah, blah. Here's what my Aurora team looked like as I kind of leveled it out, as I kind of made it my best team possible. We've got Lilium, Viper, Yelly, Chiaki, Dina. This was my most successful team at consistently beating this boss. And by consistently beating this boss, I still mean at 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10. It was sometimes 10 out of 10, but not all the time. And not all the time because units like Viper with 254% effect accuracy, who is the correct element for this fight, will just miss. They'll just not apply debuffs. And that honestly, it's just stupid. That's just stupid. There needs to be, and I've harped on this before and so many other people have, there needs to be less RNG in this game when it comes to figuring out the puzzle that is PVE. Because let's be real, PvP focused games have PVE to support the PvP. Once you figure out how to beat the PVE puzzle, you should just be able to beat it over and over and over again, so you can spend your mental energy and your effort and time getting better at PvP, building out your roster, things like that. It's so frustrating when your team loses to Aurora because Dina comes out and does not land vulnerable. Instead, she just lands defense down, or she just doesn't land anything, even though her skill 4 is a 4-hit attack. Somehow none of those 4 hits at 222% effect accuracy even apply defense down. This team has it does not need to be peak performance to beat the boss. It needed to be best 2 or 3 performances to beat the boss. There's lots of fail safes in there. It'll still just lose sometimes. That's wild. That needs to go away from the game. Also, I want to talk about RNG in a different way. I definitely feel this needs to change. Just shells in general. Now look, shell farming has improved. And let me take a moment right here to talk about good things that devs have done. Shell farming, much better than it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. This rotating banner thing that we had during the double drop event, where you can do 100 pulls and have a select old unit. Awesome addition to the game. Most of the big patches they have made since the first one that Shadow nerfed Shadow Sonya or whatever, all the patches since then have been big steps forward. So props to the dev team for listening to the community, listening to the content creators, all of that. This is still shells, the shell experience is still garbage. Now look, let me talk about gear for a second. Let's go to our inventory. Well, I want to look at this through an animus. Okay, so let's say we got Doki here, and say my Doki needs a head slot piece. I'm going to sort by speed because I just want her to go first in PvP. My fastest piece is a +15. That's pretty dang good. But guys, I have farmed this game as hard as I can every single day. When I got a +15 there, I got a +15 there. Okay, so a +15 for ring. What do I got? I got a plus 13. Best ring I got's plus 13. Let's just look at modules on the right side here. Let's look at the right side modules. I'm not going to sort by a main stat. I have a plus 16 that is a 2-piece matrix time weave set that I literally still use all the time because it has plus 16. Then I have a plus 16 2-piece unbreakable. Like, do you see what I'm saying? We all accept that, like, with gacha game gearing, there is some RNG to your gears. Absolutely. However, most games have some sort of system built in where you can't just get hyper screwed over and over again. Again, I am not the best player of this game. There are people who are better than me at this game, but I have farmed as much as anybody in the game does. And I have obviously spent all of my currency, back up to 4.5 million after farming a little bit today, like leveling gear. And for the last month and a half, 2 months, I've only chased speed, and I've yet to hit a piece better than plus 16. Now, I luckily have 2 or 3 15s, a couple 16s. I can make a 320 something speed person, but there's a lot of people out there that can make like a couple 330 plus speed people. And like, that just feels unlucky, but I understand part of this game is luck. Now, let's not have shells be another part of that game. And I'm not going to beat this horse to death either, because I've beat this horse to death so many times before. But part of the less RNG, part of the PVE fatigue is like, you get a shell and it has Harvest Keen Eye Swift Rate, and that's what you want. And then you level the dang thing up and you roll Blade of Disorder 12%, and you just can't get anything better than crit plus 10% in that middle slot. And maybe you want speed. I don't know. The passive effects for shells must change. This just needs a complete overhaul where like we can at least have a pity system involved, or like if you roll yellow, you can't roll worse than yellow anymore. And once you roll a red, you're guaranteed to keep rolling reds, so you can chase that like plus 30%. Because even this red overclocking is still 6% less than a potential better red overclocking, but I would be insane to try to chase that with this piece. So this ends up just being kind of like a permanent B plus A minus piece, unless I want to sacrifice all of my farming for a week to try to make it like an A plus. Again, feels bad. PVE fatigue is what that is. I just would rather focus on, something more fun than that. And so like clean up that RNG stuff. That will solve a little bit of the PVE fatigue. Now, the other side of PVE fatigue that I want to talk about is when I started this video, I had finished an auto repeat run, which is back off, of Nico Nana Inferno. And when I farm Nico Nana Inferno these days, I am still looking for like decent matrix shells and all of that, but I mostly just farm this one for like fodder. I need, I just want currency to be able to level up some of my other passives, level up some more shells, something like that. So I slam this fight over and over again because I clear it really fast and I can just like hit go, come back again in like 5 minutes, hit go again. It's a great way for me to gather some currency. Do you know what would be better? 2 things would be better. Number 1, if I just wanted to auto farm this thing 100 times today, allow me to burn the crystals to get enough energy to auto farm it 100 times and then set my auto farm to 100 and then walk away. That would be nice, because again, I'm going to use my life as a reference point here. I have work, I have school, I have all of these things building up in my life. It's not realistic for me to have to restart this 10 times a day. That's not realistic at all. And God forbid I'm talking about farming Rengokutsu here, which is the actual one I should be farming. I'm a 1-star here. Like, I'm a 1-star clear. My run is not even 100% guaranteed at that 1-star. It's like 80, 85. But like, I got to come back here every like 20 minutes after blowing 40 energy for the whole day. Crazy. Let me just put all the energy, let me just come in here, click this, max it out, and say, do this fight as many times as you can. And then I'll deal with the results, right? Like something like that would, again, solve the PVE fatigue problem that so many people are dealing with. And I know a lot of people in the comments right now, a lot of people are thinking, stop complaining, blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm criticizing, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that like for this game to live, you must cater to casual players. You must. And I don't even consider myself a casual player. I'm pretty hardcore. A lot of my day is spent thinking about Etheria Restart. Probably an unhealthy amount of my day is spent thinking about this game. However, my YouTube channel is not where I primarily make my money. This is like my fun money that I throw back into gacha games. My real job's where I make my money, and my family is where I make most of my life enjoyment. That's where my focus needs to be. You need people like me because I also have money, which I spend. And so, Etheria, you want to keep me and you want to keep people like me because we got jobs and we spend money on packs. You need us, and PVE burnout is the thing I think that is keeping this game from being just kind of like locked in. If they did the things, look, I said last time, if they added gear sets, it would like solve the PvP versus PvE problem. They did. It's been awesome. I've played more PvP since they did that than I ever did before. Massive props. The main problem for me now is I need gear and I need shells, and I need a reasonable way to farm those every day. If you get that done, I'm feeling really good about the state of this game, and it can kind of just become this like part of my life that I get to think about and care about the appropriate amount as opposed to having to think and care about it too much. So that's my video on that today, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you agree, disagree, whatever, drop a comment in the comments section. Let me know how you feel about all of this, and I'm looking forward to the next patch notes. I will definitely cover those again as soon as they come out, and yeah, thank you all for watching. Have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Peace.